In the far reaches of Middle-earth, nestled in an ancient and dreary forest called the Grove of Willows, a series of curious events unfolded. On a crisp night, under the ominous hue of the moon, an unassuming hobbit named Pip found himself embarking on an adventure of a lifetime. Pip lived in the quaint village of Bree, known for its cozy inns and tales of travelers passing through. On this particular evening, Pip had been lounging on the porch of the Prancing Pony, his gaze lost in the crinkled pages of a book filled with legends. His attention was soon diverted as a ragged old man, cloaked and laden with mysterious satchels, darted past. "Who is that?" Pip muttered to himself. His curiosity was piqued, and he couldn't ignore the pull of adventure any longer. With a quick glance around to ensure he wasn't being watched, he stowed his book and hastened after the man, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The man led Pip deep into the forest, where ancient trees with whitered bark loomed overhead. The air smelled of moss and unspoken secrets. It was a foreboding path, one less traveled by those in search of easier adventures. Suddenly, the man came to a halt at the entrance of a grotto. Inside the grotto, the air was thick with moisture, the dripping of water echoing like a distant song. The man revealed himself as Laden, a once great hero who had retreated into obscurity following a grievous wound he received in a fateful skirmish against the dark forces. Elathan's hand trembled as he handed Pip a trove of maps and sagas, his eyes filled with a sadness that bespoke 1,000 unspoken stories. "You are the one I have been waiting for," Eli then confided. "In these maps lies the path to the beacon of Evers Higher, a relic of unrivaled power that has long been sought by both men of good and those of ill intent. The beacon has the power to placate the lands or bring about untold devastation. Our world grows more dangerous by the hour. You must seize this duty." Pip's mind raced, processing the gravity of the task laid before him. That night, nestled in the cradles of the grotto, Pip studied the maps, the whispers of Elathan's warnings still fluttering in his ears. At dawn, Pip set forth alone, his path taking him through barren fields and vast fells of the north. His journey was fraught with peril. He encountered marshlands so thick they nearly claimed his life. Ragged and hungry, he nevertheless pressed on, driven by the urgency of his mission. One particularly bleak day, as Pip navigated through a dense forest, he found himself face to face with a band of orcs, their eyes piercing with malice. A fierce battle ensued. Pip, though small and unassuming, had the heart of a warrior. He used his wits and the environment to his advantage, but just as he thought he might be overwhelmed, a horn sounded, and the orcs scuttled off into the trees. Emerging from the underbrush was a group of elves, led by a commander named Elenian. These noble beings had seen Pip's bravery and taken an immediate liking to him. They offered him shelter and aid, guiding him to their hidden sanctuary among the trees, a place untouched by the grime of the outside world. For days, Pip recuperated, regaining his strength. During this time, Elenian revealed that the elves, too, were aware of the beacon of Evers Higher and had long sought to protect it. United by a common cause, they decided to accompany Pip on his journey. The group's path led them across vast plains where wild horses grazed, their appearance like fleeting spirits on the horizon. They traversed treacherous mountain passes and deep into the Grotto of Shadows, a place steeped in ancient magic. Here, they faced many challenges, including a dire confrontation with a dragon who had seized the entrance to the beacon. This dragon, named Glorung, was a creature of terrifying majesty. His scales shimmered with an ever-changing hue, and his eyes were filled with age-old wisdom and cunning. Pip and the elves knew they had no choice but to confront him. As they approached, Glorung sniffed the air, sensing their presence. With a mighty roar, he lunged towards them, but the elves, swift and canny, darted around him. Pip, holding tightly to the now most treasured trove gifted by Eli then, felt something deep within him stir, a courage he never knew he possessed. The battle was fierce, with the elves launching a coordinated attack. Their arrows fluttered through the air, meeting their mark precisely. Pip played his part by using an ancient incantation from one of Elethan's scrolls, which placated the beast just long enough for Elenian to deliver a decisive blow. Glorung, wounded and weakened, made off into the shadows, leaving the path to the beacon's chamber unguarded. Inside, the beacon of Evers Higher emitted a soft, unearthly light, the air around it humming with power. As Pip approached, he could feel the weight of the ages, the collective hopes and fears of countless generations pressing upon him. With a deep breath, he placed his hand on the beacon, feeling its cool, smooth surface. The beacon responded to his touch, lighting up with a brilliant, almost blinding glow. Pip's heart pounded in his chest. In that instant, he saw visions of Middle-earth's past, present, and potential futures. He saw peace and prosperity, but also war and desolation. Guided by the wisdom of Eli then and the courage he discovered within himself, he used the beacon's power to cleanse the land of its shadows, bringing hope and renewal. When the light receded, Pip found himself back in the grove of willows, the once dreary and foreboding forest now bathed in sunlight. The elves smiled at him, their faces alight with relief and gratitude. Pip returned to Bree, no longer the unassuming hobbit who spent his days reading on the porch of the prancing pony. He was a hero, a beacon for his people in his own right. And though he would never forget the haunting shadows of his journey, he knew he had found something far greater than he had ever sought, a purpose, a legacy, and an unyielding courage that would inspire tales for generations to come.